So this here might be the simplest and most kind of metal-ish guitar that Harley Benton makes that isn't like a super serious metal shape of a guitar. It is a Jazzmaster-shaped guitar, and this is the Harley Benton JA20HH Active SBK. This is a matte black guitar with HBZ custom wound high gain active pickups. I think the guitar looks really cool. It has some potential to be modified, you know, if you wanna swap out some, at least, you know, the pickups for something that suits your needs perfectly. And then maybe like, you know, some locking tuners or something like that. But all in all, I think it looks really great. So it's like out of the box, you're getting a lot of guitar for the money. It is a 25.5-inch scale length neck. So that's like plenty if you wanna, you know, down tune a little bit, put some thicker strings in there, then you can do that. I'm not sure about these pickups yet. I haven't tried them properly. So we'll check that out in a little bit. So just a few specs to go over here. The body is poplar, the neck is a bolt-on maple. The fingerboard is Rose Acer, which I've never heard about before, I think. It blends nicely with the guitar, with the black aesthetic. I think it looks really cool. 22 frets, just one single volume knob, and then we got these two active pickups here and a hardtail bridge. Without going any further into details, we should just check out some tones. Let's start off with a clean tone. So this is my Friedman preset on my quad Cortex. I set up this preset with like a clean, little bit of crunch, distortion and lead. So I've got a selection of tones to go through and they kind of sound similar, but you know, with more and less gain. This is just to show off what the pickups actually sound like on this guitar. And let's start off with the bridge pickup. So for a guitar that is roughly $120, the quality is pretty decent. The fret ends, like you can feel a little bit, but very, very, very minor. So it's nothing crazy, very playable for sure. It is a C-shaped neck. The setup right out of the box was not perfect. I haven't plugged it in before, but I did like acoustically kind of, you know, just go a little bit over the way it is set up. All I did was just lower the bridge saddles just a little bit to make the strings get closer to the fingerboard, making it easier to play, fixing kind of intonation issues as well, because lower action means there's less bending of the string when you press it down. All I did was that, and already plays better. So the sound of the pickups, I think, is okay. I just demoed the bridge pickup, but let's go through the middle position where you mix together the bridge and the neck. All right, and then we got the neck pickup. So I think these pickups actually sound quite decent for this cheap guitar. They are active, so they are pretty high gain, hot. So that means like this preset normally would be a bit cleaner than it is. So, you know, when you dig into it, it has a little bit of drive because it's pushing the amp, but still the clarity, the definition, the tone of the pickups, I think is pretty decent. So I think we should go through some slightly higher gain tones. Like I said with the pickups, they're a bit high gain, so with this tone here, which is normally like a medium gain-ish rhythm, a bit higher than medium gain, you can hear that the guitar has quite a bit of punch and quite a bit of, you know, like drive to it. feels pretty nice. You know, quite often with these cheap pickups, I don't have the feeling that I want from them because I go through these higher gain tones and I feel uninspired with a lot of them. Not all of them, but you know, some of them. These feel quite nice. So out of the box, pretty nice. Alright, so for the money, I think this guitar is really cool. I think it has potential for someone who is good with taking guitars and making them a little bit better. There's a couple of things that I would like to fix. First of all, from the box, the strings that came on this specific one, it might not be with one that you get. These strings are just not that great. They are 10 to 46, so that's like the gauge that I kind of like for this style of guitar, but the actual strings are just, they're not slippery enough. It seems like they're, I don't know, they're just not good, not a good brand. I feel like I have like residue of something like on my fingers, so like there's a lot of like friction and they're not good strings. So swap them out definitely. I don't like these strings at all, so that might change the way the guitar plays quite a bit actually, because good strings feel a lot better to play. The tuners are fine. I would still swap them out for something that is better, some slightly better, you know, locking ones that are a bit more stable. The nut is actually quite decent. I think you just need to make sure that the neck is straight so that it plays well, because I need to check that a bit, because I noticed up here in this area here that there's a little bit of fret buzz that I want to fix. It's nothing crazy, but just be mindful of that. There's one thing that I think is a bit odd, just design-wise, and it's like when you look at the headstock here, these strings here, they are all like fairly straight. Then when you go to the low E string here, it's just, that one goes at an angle to the nut and it just looks a bit silly. It's the design of the headstock that is kind of, you know, it's just, oh, it bugs me. It's such a minor thing, but it kind of bugs me a little bit. The bridge here, the tailpiece is fine. It's just an issue that I have quite often with cheap guitars, is that because you have to lower the saddles, these little screws that you use here to adjust the height, they will stick out because I've lowered it, because the way they set it up at a factory is that they make it kind of, you know, flush, so it's comfortable to put your palm there. But in this case, I had to lower them and the screws stick out, so it's like they're not sharp, but they will still dig in a little bit into your hand. So there's that. So maybe like putting a nicer one could fix that, I'm not sure. I love that there's just one knob, just volume, that's all I need, and then the 2 pickups. They sound good, so those are not the first things that I would swap out. I would actually swap out the tuners first and then maybe the pickups later. So in the end, I do recommend this guitar. I think for the price, and if this is like the look that you're looking for, then definitely it looks amazing. It plays pretty well. With a little bit of setup, you can make it awesome and really, really great. And for the price, you can't really go bad with this one. Definitely recommend it. And if you want to get this guitar, I do recommend using my affiliate link down below in the description so that I will get a little bit of kickback that I can use back into my videos. So with all that said, please comment, share, like, subscribe, and all that stuff. What you think about the guitar, tell me in the comments down below.